This is how we do research the right way. Aboriginal people have been involved in health research for a long time. This involvement has often been as participant in a study, where information is taken from Aboriginal people for research to tell their stories. This is changing, and Aboriginal people are becoming more involved in what they want from research, and now research is to be done. The Aremella Arratyenye-ileme Doing It Right project tells this story and can be used as a guide for Aboriginal communities and organisations to understand the research process, what to know about research, and how to do research.
It's important for Aboriginal peoples to be included in health research and to know what it is to be involved. The Central Australian Aboriginal Congress wanted to understand what Aboriginal communities wanted to know about health research. Congress partnered with 2 research organisations and put in a funding application to Lowitja Institute. Congress was successful and over 2 years worked with Central Australia remote health boards. An outcome of Doing It Right project are the animations based on National Health and Medical Research Council's 6 core values for ethical conduct in research with Aboriginal peoples and communities. These are guidelines for researchers and stakeholders.
Congress worked with remote Central Australian Aboriginal health boards and communities to translate the NHMRC 6 core values and processes into local understandings and are represented through the animations. The translation of the NHMRC 6 core values to central understandings are as follows: spirit and integrity to commitment, cultural continuity to uphold culture, equity to justice and fairness, reciprocity to sharing, respect to respect and relationships, responsibility remains as responsibility. Each core value can be viewed individually or altogether as a sequence. Please select your option, sit back and listen to the research story. Warning: the images and voices may be that of people who are deceased.
This is how to do the research the right way.
Commitment is a central core value that binds all the other 5 values together.
A commitment to doing research the right way means following these 6 core values.
It is about ongoing connections between generations and to country. It is about respectful and honourable behaviours that make cultures strong.
Research plays an important role in improving the economic, cultural, social and environmental determinants of health through learning and through creating and translating knowledge.
We want to make sure research works with the community strengths and builds on what is known from past research. To ensure there is genuine engagement with research, the Aboriginal Health Boards have a commitment to the employment and training of Aboriginal researchers, local people as researchers, community navigators and interpreters.
Most importantly, it helps all of us, communities, researchers and others, to have a shared understanding for how we can work effectively together to improve the lives of Aboriginal people through research. To do this right, we all need to work together in community engagement and relationship building, so the community can choose the research topics, how the research is done, and that external researchers give themselves enough time to do this. It is also important the community owns the research outcomes and the knowledge gained through research.
The Aboriginal Health Board makes sure that researchers engage with the community and stakeholders so that research responds to the community needs and to priorities. We work to make sure that research is respectful of culture. Aboriginal Health Boards are committed to building the capacity of its research section and its Aboriginal staff members to be actively involved in research. We aim to have more research projects identified and driven by Aboriginal Health Boards.
This means that research will focus more on what matters to us and what are the needs of our clients and communities. It also means we can use the research to improve the services we provide our clients and our communities.
This is how to do the research the right way.
Nothing about us without us. Culture can be a source of information to make researchers strong. It is important that the research with Central Australian Aboriginal community is done in a way that upholds and supports our unique culture. It also makes sure that any Aboriginal staff or community researchers feel safe, respected and acknowledged when working on the research project.
Part of respecting and upholding culture means seeking, listening to and respecting advice from community members or Aboriginal researchers about cultural protocols. Sacred sites, ceremonial business or other community issues may affect where you can go in the community or when you can go. It is important for researchers to always respect and follow this advice. Knowledge translation is a two-way learning between partners working together to make research process more equitable, culturally safe and relevant, and research outcomes more accessible, useful and actionable.
I think it will open up a new way of working together. Nothing about us without us.
Justice and fairness. It means we all have access to the services that we need to live well, and that benefits are shared evenly amongst all people. In good research, the contribution and support of Aboriginal community members and researchers is respected and acknowledged. Part of justice and fairness is about respecting our intellectual and cultural property rights. Recognition of the Aboriginal voice is central to this. For our stories to be told right, we must tell them ourselves. These are important so that everyone can live well in their communities. This also means that different values are respected equally. We need our values to be treated equally, even if they are different to the values and ways of doing things of the white fellas. We all know about justice and fairness. Research at Congress is committed to the values of justice and fairness.
This is how we do research the right way.
Nothing about
us without us. Sharing. Sharing is about two-way learning, sharing knowledge and sharing benefit. It is about working together for health research, providing training and developing skills in community. This will help to get active involvement so that the research is done together.
Another part of two-way sharing and responsibility is planning ways that the research can build the capacity of the community and the researcher. This could include training opportunities or employment on the research project.
It is part of the commitment that the researchers has made with the community to share the research finding in a way that the community understand. This is an example of two-way sharing in a cultural way. Nothing about us without us.
respect and relationships. Part of representing Aboriginal people's right to decide on research that impacts on them is making sure Aboriginal people are involved in designing the research from the beginning. This will make sure that research benefits the community and reflects what the community needs. That research is culturally appropriate, relationships are respectful, non-judgmental, and processes are guided by community. Like other external workers, researchers are visitors and need to respect the community and cultural protocols when interacting with community members and groups. By working with community from the beginning, we can identify how the community would like to be involved in the research and identify appropriate ways for the community to benefit from the research. This is all about being flexible with the community, to take the time to build relationships, to build trust and educate the researchers to be sensitive to past negative experiences Aboriginal peoples have had with research. When both the researchers and the community share the benefits of research, there will be better outcomes for both community and the research team. Ways to be involved in the community research can include providing culturally appropriate and accessible ways for the community to contribute to the research design, implementation, and to share in its outcomes and benefits. Providing training, upskilling or employment opportunities for community members. Employing local Aboriginal cultural consultants, interpreters or Aboriginal community researchers. Working with Aboriginal community-owned or led partnered organisations. This is how we do research the right way.
So if researchers come into our community, come to the health centre and talk to the board members, health board members, and explain. We'll sit down and discuss the research, what the research is about, and then we'll sit down and discuss it if it's suitable for our community. This is how to do the research the right way.
Nothing about us without us.
Responsibility. We may come from big families and are part of a big kinship system. Our responsibilities and our obligations are to our family first and to our community.
It is part of ethical responsibilities of research to make sure that prior informed consent is received from the communities and community members who will be participating in the research study. For communities, this means you have a good understanding of what the research project is, what will be involved, and how it will affect you and benefit your community. So you can choose to take part if you think it is good, or choose not to take part if you think it is no good. Remember, the researchers may not know what you know, so it is important that you speak up if you have any worries about the research being done. Sometimes things change. Even if you have given your consent, you can change your mind at any time.
Responsibility. It is researchers' responsibility to understand communities are different from each other and different languages and different rules and protocols.
If your research approves, so one of the board members will take you into the community residence and introduce you and explain to them what the research is about. I'll do some interpreting too in languages. The researchers are doing it the right way.
Most importantly, it helps all of us, communities, researchers and others, to have a shared understanding for how we can work effectively together to improve the lives of Aboriginal people through research.
Sharing and responsibility means two-way learning, sharing knowledge and benefits. to make sure that communication is respectful of culture and supports culture to continue.
This is how we do research the right way.
Nothing about us without us.
We thank our partners, funders, and acknowledge support from the following communities, organisations and individuals. A very special thank you to the Central Australian Aboriginal Congress, Central Australian Remote Health Boards and communities. We would like to share appreciation for the artists and consultants that work with us. And last but not least, we thank and acknowledge the Congress staff and researchers. The Doing It Right Project's 6 core values have outlined the Central Australian Remote Health Boards and Communities' understandings and interpretations of the National Health and Medical Research Centre's 6 core values and the development of these stories and images so that we can all do research the right way. The 6 core values give communities a standard that researchers can be held accountable to. It helps communities understand research and empowers them to take ownership of how research is done in Aboriginal communities. Most importantly, it helps all of us, communities, researchers, to have a shared understanding of how we can work effectively together to improve the lives of Aboriginal people through research.